Hey guys, today we're going to work on a three-dimensional sculpture that is going to incorporate the idea of optical illusions in op art, which is usually drawn on, and it's going to go into a three-dimensional sculpture, and we are being inspired. We're being inspired by Bridget Riley, who is an op artist, and she does all of hers in paintings and drawings, and right now we are going to turn optical illusions that are usually flat into 3D sculptures. So what we have here is our base. We made a pyramid. So you have a square, and we used cardboard for ours. And then you have your pieces that go up to the base of your triangle. So every piece comes down in this direction, right? So we have this nice pyramid. I'm going to zoom out really quickly so that way you guys can see the whole thing. Okay, so we have this pyramid. And I'm going to leave it flat on the table for now. But as you can see, we're starting our idea for our op art right in here. So we're doing a really basic op art piece that's usually drawn with a ruler and a pencil. So what we did was we went along every single one of our long strips that create the pyramid of our optical illusion, of our op art sculpture. And we measured out 1/2 inch and we put these little marks in here. So every 1/2 inch, there is a pencil line. Now, as we were working, we realized that it's easier if you put your pencil lines on the inside as well. So that way, when you're working, you know where to glue, because we're not going to glue on the outside because of all these pieces that get left behind. And we don't want to have this showing on the outside of our piece. So that's why we did them on the inside of our piece. So this looks a lot neater. All right, so we measured 1/2 inch between all the way down. And we're not going to use all of these lines because we ended up running out of space down here. But it's still good to know where they're all going to be. And we went around every single one with our lines. Okay, so here is the trick to this optical illusion. You always start with the very top one, and it goes to the closest point on the bottom. And then you go up to the next one down, and it will go to the next one out on the bottom. So each line, so your third one will follow, and it will come straight out to your next line. And your fourth one will follow, and it'll go to your fourth line, and your fifth line, and so on. So they just keep working their way out. So as you're creating these straight lines, they're going further out. They're creating the illusion that this is a rounded line, even though it's a bunch of straight lines that are all stuck together, because you can tell they're all at the bottom. They're all straight. So here's the trick. I'm working on this side so far, and the cool part is, okay, the exciting part, the interesting part, is that the orange lines have already been glued down to every single point. So all I have to do is put my yellow string on top of an orange string and I'll be in the right spot. And you can see where these other lines were that we didn't finish up on because we ran out of lines further down here. Okay. So my next one's going to go right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my hot glue and I'm going to put a little piece of glue, like a glue dot, right on that spot. And I'm going to bring in my yellow. We're using yarn. And I'm going to use a pencil to press this down because my glue gun is very hot right now. It has been on for a long time. So we're going to press this down. And then I'm going to line up. So this one is going to come out to the very next one over. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue right on that spot. And I'm going to bring this out. And I'm going to make sure that it's tight and not saggy because I want it to have a nice straight line. And I'm going to press it down. I'm going to hold it here for just a minute, just so that it stays. And that's my next piece. So you're always working, so just like in math, you're always working on your y-axis, your vertical axis, and then your x-axis is your horizontal axis. So I'm going to do another one. I'm going to put a glue dot right here on this orange line. I'm going to put my yellow yarn right here. I'm going to press it down. Give it a minute. And we're going to bring it over. I'm going to glue out my next little line that I have here, which is a 1/2 inch apart. I'm going to press this down so that way it catches, and I'm slowly creating this rounded piece. So we're going to the next one down. So once you get on like a little, when you get used to it and you get yourself into like a little groove going, it makes it a lot easier, but it just takes a little bit to get used to it sometimes. To remember what you're doing. So you're working from the top and you're working your way out on the bottom. In class, we talked about different colors that people could do. If you want to do like a value scale, so dark to light of one shade of color, that is very interesting. I'm doing the color wheel, so I'm doing Roy G. Biv, so red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. I was thinking of another color I can add with my violet for my last one. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to go with. I don't know if I'm going to do like a gray. Oh, where am I going? I'm doing a glue dot in the wrong spot over here. Let's go here. Just ignore that other one. So we're going to put this one here. I'm going to make sure it gets glued down well. So again, different colors. And if you decide that you just want to stick with like black and white, you can. It's up to you. You could do complementary colors. Lots of freedom for your colors on this project. We also talked about whether or not we were going to put strings on the bottom. A lot of my students said they're not going to. They want to keep it open so they can put a light underneath it. That is okay as well. Just slowly getting this to work around here. Pulling my yarn. I've got maybe 2 more spots. One after this one. And then I can go and do another color and start from the top and work my way down. Just going to press this down right here and hold it for a minute. And this will be my last one. And then I'm going to start again all the way over there, and this time I'm going to crisscross over this way. So instead of me starting with let's get this glued on and I'll show you. So instead of me starting with on top of another yarn, because I'm starting completely fresh on this side, I'm going to mark out on the inside everywhere my little lines are, because we discussed that this would make things a lot easier. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm just going in here and making my little marks on the inside so that way I can see them and I know where to put my hot glue. All right, so now I got my lines on the inside, so I know exactly where I'm going to work. And I'm going to get my next color yarn, which I don't have near me. So I'm just going to show you an example. I'm going to start with my yellow at the very top, and then I would go straight down. And I'll connect it to the very closest dot again. And then my next one will be on top of this one, and on top of this one, and this one. Just like what is going on this side with my orange and my red. I'm working from my top closest one to the closest one and further down as I go. As I go down this line, I go outward. So this is what I have so far. And I look at this one and I think this line could have been a little bit tighter. I can go back in and tighten any lines that look like they need to be tightened. Like this one definitely needs to be tightened. So I'm just going to go back in here and I'm going to touch this up. That's the good thing about using yarn and hot glue. Like you can do stuff like this. Just please be careful of burning yourself. I'm just going to hold this here with my pencil for a minute because I don't want any little sagging lines. I want them all to be nice and tight like an optical illusion, like if they had been drawn on. See, and just by doing that, I just fixed that whole line. It's not sagging anymore. All right, so this is what we're doing.